in any case, I also believed I could throw off archetypes, like one could if you were really into Madonna, like the last people totally were. Like she could throw off looks, so I could go into like avenging female, and then I could go into, I Googled myself, which is always a horrible activity. I wouldn't wish it on anyone. Now I Googled myself in the word drunk. I have been drunk 10 times, maybe, in my life. Really, really, truly. I have done a lot of drugs, but alcohol is just not my thing. There are a million pages of Courtney Love drunk. So I Googled Courtney Love sexy. One mention. You would think I had never been like. I mean, unless I had a child to prove it. Seriously. So archetypes just aren't that easy to throw off. And the mention was by a guy named Dennis Cooper in 1983. And I remember, because the only time I mentioned just sexy. It's sort of, and it says, her avenging female trope, something makes her natural sexiness seem wacky. But she has a good head on her shoulders, and she assures me this is a trope. Yeah, and it's 20 years later, I'm still stuck with the fucking thing. So, then in the midst of all this crazy stuff, something happened to me that any red-blooded, suckled on the breast of fama, renowned American would want, which was just hands to me on a platter. I became a movie star. I don't mean, little schmatza. I mean, I got the A-list on a platter. And straight up, just Everest. Everything was handed to me first. My second film I was offered after The People vs. Larry Flint, I'll mention it. It's against the Hollywood rules to mention films that you were offered that other actresses took, by the way. So I want to make you break that rule. And she doesn't work much, you can't do that. But it was Janis Joplin, it hasn't been me, so that's why I mentioned it. And it was this woman, Sherry Lansing, and she said, and she was offering me $20 million. And I said, I didn't like Janis Joplin. And Sherry Lansing looked at me like I was insane. And I probably was. But I just didn't want to do it. And no, I didn't have a lot of guidance. I was going out with a guy who went to Yale, and he was the seventh. And I said, are you a wasp? And he said, no. He lied. So, in any case, he was not used to kind of came past them to me. And even though I had this fantastic experience with this director, Milos Forman, that was great. They all had to be like him. If they weren't like him, I didn't like them. And I didn't know. I watched other friends of mine become, very, very successful from around the same time. Cameron Diaz, I can mention her because she's a dear friend, and also because we sort of started at the same. But she knew how to play the game. She had great guidance, and she also wanted to do it. I didn't want it, and it's just a weird. It felt odd. I didn't like it. And I turned down hit after Oscar hit thing, whatever. And finally they left me in peace. And I knew I was off the list when I didn't get offered. So I can mention this. I did not. There was this movie with Helen Hunt and Kevin Spacey, and it was called Pay It Forward. Does anyone remember that film? I didn't get offered. And that was the kind of white trashy chick things that I was getting offered. When I didn't get offered that, I was off the list. And I was a little scared. But I kind of enjoyed the solace. So, okay. So, it's weird to not want to be a movie star, and you can call it inflexible integrity or bulletproof innocence, someone called it recently, or self-sabotage. Anyway, last week, I saw an old friend. Now, I realized before I made this speech that I can't mention his name because it'll go out of context. And by the way, we should all have a criteria for name dropping. If I said Clint to you, I don't know Clint Eastwood, okay? That would be alienating and weird to all of you. And unless I have his home phone number, I've been directed by him. And even then, I think it's just bad manners to do that. But anyway, this guy's a huge movie star. I've just known him since before he was a movie star. So if I say his name, it'll end up in page 6 out of context. So just imagine a big movie star. And I saw him. We used to be really good friends. And this is from before. Now he's like, that guy. And when he was that guy, he was 6'4". I mean, he's one of the best looking people I know. There was this Faustian nightmare that happened. It was terrifying. Okay, you can guess. Smart. You're all smart. You're going to guess what it is. It happened regarding this film called Fight Club. And it tipped me over. And I'll there. I will do a lot, but I won't be a whore, and I won't do jousting, and in what I consider a deal with the devil. So the same thing occurred, which is a middleman, saying basically, I'll trade you one fight club for this guy playing your dead husband. Instead of screaming, you motherfucker! You know what I would do? Without selling out, I would do this. I'd say, sure, and fuck them later. But the amazing thing is, I'm getting craftier, right? So I actually don't ruin my integrity within that. So what they're doing, anyway, it didn't happen. It's a fiction. So for 12 years, I believed that this thing happens to me, and it didn't. And I see him, and I don't know how he knew, but he took me aside, and he said it wasn't true, and I really believed him. And he goes, Court, it was Chet Baker. Chet Baker. I was 38. And I went, I've never put this on the record. I don't know how he knew how angry I was at him, but it was relieving, it was scary, and it was intense. And all the status and the prestige and the protection that you get when you are a movie star, it's amazing. But you have to want it. You know, you can't just do it because everyone wants you to. You have to want it. And I didn't want it. So, you know, also there's another rule. With artists and rock stars, we die, we make money. When I'm spending $425,000 million to make on a Larry Fox, I'm going to keep that chick alive. She's going to have nutritionists, like whatever. Movie stars need to be alive. Artists need to be dead. So it's true. Listen, a dead rock star, a dead artist makes far, far, far more money than after a certain amount of output. And nothing could move me off of this I don't know why. I wanted to act again, but I just didn't want it. And the more persecuted I became, the more stigmatized, the more he were great and Larry Flint, the more I was like, I didn't care. Until Cannes this year. And I saw this little champagne film. And it was amazing. And it was a little indie film. And it moved me. And I thought I was a peyote inside this theater. I really did. It was about me. It was about whatever. I went into this room full of Irish people, and I spoke to an agent. And we must have these agents and these dealers and these lawyers and things. This guy happens to be a very decent man, very powerful, but I've only seen him as a father. He's never been my agent. I've only seen him as our children are good friends. And I said, I'm 47, I'm a chick. If I wanted to come back, can I? And he gave me 3 tasks, like the Hobbit. And I swear to God, man, he did 3 tasks, and none were too gnarly. Like, one was weird, but otherwise they weren't that bad. So wait, okay. So we'll see. I went. I did my 3 tasks. One I failed at. I didn't get the PR person he wanted me to get, but it was something personal, asshole. I'm fortified, and I feel good about it. And tonight, actually Friday, 3 greenlit screenplays end up on my bed. I mean, that's amazing. That doesn't happen to 47-year-old women. Pigs can fly. I don't know. But then again, in the art and the rock world, there's Julian Schnabel, there's Bono, there's my friend David LaChapelle, and they have found ways of earning so that their deaths aren't the chomp-worthy thing in the ids of the costumes of their dealers. In point of fact, I share an art dealer, because we're in an art market where, I draw these pictures, and I have an art dealer with LaChapelle. And I've been doing these seriously horrible memory art, I probably won't do a ton of them, but I've been doing these drawings, and I've been giving them to Fred Torres, who's David's dealer. And it's weird karma for a baby kid to do that. I feel weird about it. But if one thinks that the mind despised the linseed oils and easels into the TP Douglas fir that of course wasn't included, that I have to attend the San Francisco Art Institute to just get a little trust fund. Yeah, I have a trust fund. It's really small though. But I loathed it, and instead, I spent my time learning guitar, English, and dreaming of going to do other things. But the reason I'm even doing this drawing is because I'm good at it. And I looked at my club next, and I'm like, why did I? Fuck it, I'm gonna try to do this. So whatever. And because Fred, and that's David Dealer, we were one-on-one about 4 or 5 months ago. And he fired a very distinguished art world mafia household name because he had been informed that he was putting too many La Chapelles in museums. Okay, I don't know how this shit works with art because it's stock, it's not royalties, but I know what the word burned means, like if a painting is burned. Anyway, the dealer stated that he wished for David LaChapelle's work to, quote, go up over time, which is industry speak for when he's dead. Okay, and Fred said to him, I want David to have a good life now. And in that moment, I was so entranced with Fred. That's so rare. I get that so rarely from people around artists. And so in a very contrary situation, to wrap this up, another very famous art dealer who I'm friends with, he's a mentor. I never bought a piece of art from him. He's just a mentor of mine. It was a few years ago, and he was drifting off to sleep. He was a little stoned. And I asked him, because he's doing a lot of drugs, and I asked him why he was so tormented. And, this yacht, the oligarch bullshit, my dick's so big, there's never enough chasing shit. And he said, and he shared this insight. And I really want you to value this, because it liberated me, to hear it honestly out of a friend. This is a very pure relationship. I don't know about his bank account, I don't know about his bank, it's like him. And he had this OCD sort of thought. And he told me it wasn't from his heart. He doesn't mean to manifest this thought. And it reminded me when he told me this time, I went to some gathering in LA where a bunch of us were supposed to meditate on gratitude. And I kept getting this, I was gratitude, a little naked Vince Vaughn with an S&M hat. I don't even know Vince Vaughn, but I couldn't stop this. So maybe that's what he meant by this thought. And the thought was that he wanted the guy that made him so very rich, this very famous artist, to die. And he was very relaxed. He doesn't want to on purpose. It was almost like he was torturing him. And especially when the guy was, quote, being a cunt. And I said, why do you think that is? And he said, Court, I will be so much richer, endlessly richer if he dies. I don't want to think like that, but it's just a fact. And I went, but you're crazy rich. And I was kind of playing a little more naive than I am, but I wanted to hear this. I wanted to hear this truth. And I said to my friend, at that point I'd read somewhere, a billion rupees or pesos, whatever the fuck it is, he was a billionaire. Why? And he goes, Court, at this level, can you imagine that phrase? At this level. I've been on a few yachts, you guys, at this level. Okay, ABC No Rio yachts, you do the math. Okay, at this level, your boat must be big enough, your women beautiful enough, your women bigger, your drugs the best, blah, 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 blah. Wow. So, this is my last page. I have to finish what happened that night. I'm trying to go. It's really easy. 9. Oh, here we go. But wait, there's this thing, I said to him. It's called enough. Isn't there a thing? It's like enough, right? Like I have a number. It's a big fucking number, but it's a number, And a new friend of mine last night, a psychiatrist, said, yes, but for them, for these guys that endlessly chase this crazy money stuff, it's marks death. So to say, I'll be happy with 100 million or 10,000 or 100,000 or shit, a gold card, be really happy with a Visa, a $5,000 limit one, be great. But anyway, there's this enough thing, and it represents death to them somehow. Maybe it represents it to me too, I don't know, but for me, as long as the work is really good, as long as the song is excellent, I know it is. Listen, I put a record out 2 years ago that made $19,000 over 2 years, and it's a masterwork. I don't give a shit if you know who I am or you don't, and you let's do this, suck it. Nobody's daughter is so much better. And I could get into the 34.4 million imaginary dollars and the guy that hung himself, sponsorship, blah, blah, but I won't. It just didn't sell, I had no marketing. And the play is not the thing. You must have the marketing and the agent and this and that. So, you know, it's your relationship to your failure that makes your character in any case, as we know. But as long as, and the drawing is from the heart, and no one's really being a dickhead, everything's fine. You know, I don't understand. I'm trying to figure it out. There's enough thing. And anyway, I seem to attract these rich guys. Like here in Manhattan, you kind of have to get over hating them. I mean, there's that great line in Amadeus where Salieri says to a singer that Mozart's ugly, and the girl goes, "Women taste only for talent." Sort of my thing. You know, the money thing I don't understand, but I'm trying to learn a little about it. They come to me to fix their addictions. Sometimes they want to talk about integrity or purity. Me and Fred were out in London with Billionaire Joe, the electric guy, and he was all about process, meaning that I'd done the drawing in the toilet before it was more, whatever. You know, I was actually some shit with this art thing. Anyway, and sometimes they just need a quick, uncomplicated buddy up, and if that's what I'm in the mood for, I'm not that prejudiced. But rich guys, they tip a little of my personal snobbery to get over hating their fucking guts. You can't really help it, like I said in New York. I mean, millionaires are people too. And so, they tend to become insane, more so than the fame. I mean, I know a few of these stealth mockers. Wikipedia, 121 words. Okay, these are the real motherfuckers, right? And I only got to know them really recently because I've been a good girl, done all the right things, right? And the sociopathic, toxic narcissism. I'm not talking about my narcissism. I know what kind of narcissist I am. I'm a really bad narcissist, but this is malignant narcissism. This is where I want to hurt people. This is where I want to prove I'm the most powerful person in the room at all times. You know, it's significance seeking, it's power mad, it's cocaine psychosis, I mean, I've seen all of this stuff with these guys. And I think that everyone, I love my friend that inadvertently wishes that his partner was dead. And so, like I said, it was so liberating to hear that I'm not paranoid, that they do want us dead. Okay? that made me feel good. And they want us dead after all. It means, to me, it's freeing to know that we have to fight to make great work and a great life and a great death. And leave a great legacy and have a good mission, achieve excellence, and deep, I guess we call human revolution. And that art, like life, is war.